R. Kelly was was understood as a person who was talented but yet troubled. I went to Kenwood Academy where R. Kelly was a student at one time and then became a kind of outside the hall um, occupier, and I would watch him as he fascinated not only young girls but young boys, and that folks would actually be drawn to his charismatic energy and his quite sultry voice, right? And what I would notice is that he would make a lot of promises. And one of the folks in the Surviving R. Kelly docuseries that really moved me was Tiffany Hawkins, who sat next to me in choir. She was an alto, I think a second soprano, and she was one of the most beautiful people that I had ever known. Sweet and endearing, very ambitious and very sprightly. And after R. Kelly, as I think a lot of women can kind of gesture towards this after R. Kelly, I saw this decline in her energy and her sprightliness. And it became clear to me in that era that there were many young girls who were getting their bubbles burst, so to speak, by R. Kelly, in the sense that they were excited about the opportunity to do certain types of musicianship, to be in a studio, to have airtime, so to speak, and that he provided that for them as some type of kind of cheese for the mice, right? And then he trapped them. And so for me, the music was its own trap, trapping these young girls into a whirlwind of drama and trauma. The insistence that we no longer will listen to R. Kelly, that we will no longer listen to the sonic music of our lives, right? That somehow me being a 17-year-old young boy who's coming into his adolescence with bump and grind in the background, that I can erase that from the soundtrack of my life is absolutely ridiculous. However, I do think that that soundtrack is now marred, right? And that that soundtrack causes me to think about what type of young man was I so different from R. Kelly or not, right? What type of, young woman was I, so different from the young women who were abused by R. Kelly or not, right? And figuring that out is what comes through that discourse and conversation.